Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning, coming to you live from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, and right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out. That's the International Diamond Center. We'll have Brent Beaird here in just a second. Then we'll have Kevin Winter, who's now in charge at WRUF ESPN Gainesville. He'll also be our host for Gator Radio Network, the halftime, the pregame shows, all that kind of stuff. He's launching a new show after Steve Russell is coming back to do his show, Sports Scene, starting Monday. His will go from 12 to 2. Kevin's show will go from 2 to 4, and then Jeff and Pat from 4 to 6. So we'll get Kevin on. He comes to us from ESPN, was there. You'll recognize his voice if you listen to any ESPN radio. Let's go to the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tip. We're joined by our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How you doing?
Shane, we're getting closer, are we not? We are, a week away from week 0, and then we're a couple of weeks away from everybody starting on that Thursday of Labor Day weekend. So it's almost here, isn't it, bud?
It is. And the Associated Press top 25 came out, Brent. I think everybody knows who's number 1, but damn, I didn't know that's the first time I've ever been number 1 in the AP poll.
Listen, that's stunning, isn't it? What Shane's talking about is Texas is number 1 in the preseason AP poll for the first time in their history. That really is incredible. But the interesting thing, I really for the top 10 in the preseason, or how many of these teams are facing each other the first weekend? Texas and Ohio State, Clemson, and LSU, just to mention a couple of them, Shane. But there's some good games that first week.
Oh boy, it's going to be incredible. You got a note here about some of the teams. People think they're going to have better quarterback play, even though they have a different starter than they had last year.
Yeah, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Michigan, Oklahoma could have better quarterback play to some degree than they did last year. So, these are new names that people, they don't know yet, but they certainly will. But Shane, that happens sometimes. You get a year to where you get in several quarterbacks. And to me, the key for a lot of these guys is that they have been in the program for a while. I mean, we know about Manning at Texas. We certainly know about Ty at Alabama, but that happens. It's not that these guys came necessarily from a different program to the program that we just mentioned. It's the fact that they've been in the program for a while, they've learned the ropes, and they're ready now.
Yeah, no doubt. Another note that's crazy is out of the past 21 preseason teams that were the AP number 1 team, only 2 have won the national title. 19 failed to do it. So I don't know if you want to be that guy.
Really? Yeah. This is just one of the amusing quirks about the polls is, and particularly in the AP poll. I mean, Shane, that's amazing, isn't it? Frankly, 21 seasons, 19 teams have failed to win. That's frankly unbelievable in some ways, but it's a long season. It has to play out, and that's what we've got.
Yeah. Cedric's question on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, "Good morning. When will they stop having walk-ons allowed on the teams?" I don't know what they talked about it a couple years ago, getting rid of walk-ons.
Yeah.
What's the latest on that, Brent? I mean, I think it's totally ridiculous for them to get rid of walk-ons, quite
Yeah,
personally, but
yeah,
it's probably going to happen at some point.
probably. I mean, right now they're still trying to figure this thing out, which is understandable. I mean, you've got it kind of depends on the did they go with 85 or did they go with 105? So they're still trying to figure a lot of this out. But I'm with you. I mean, give these guys a shot to be able to do it, but we'll narrow this down as it goes over the next few years.
Brent, we talked about it, the games week one, the high profile games. I can't remember, and you've been covering college football for a long time. Have you ever remembered a week starting the season like we're going to have this year?
Well, we've got number one Texas, number three Ohio State, and by the way, Shane, Ohio State's favored in that game. You've got the number one team in the nation, Texas, and I get that. I mean, you've got at this point, do we really know? We know they're two of the better teams in the country, but because they go to Ohio State on the road, Texas is not favored, which is interesting. LSU at Clemson, we mentioned both those two games. The other game we need to mention too, that's in the top 10, is number 6 Notre Dame goes to Miami. Now, Miami may be really good this year, or they may fall from number 10, which is where they're rated pretty quickly. But frankly, I mean, Shane, on that first real Saturday of the year, it's hard to do much better than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a great week for sure. Week one, some of the lines have already moved. Now, is that week one? Who played? Don't we have week zero still?
Yes, yes, we do.
Next,
We have.
why can't that be
Yeah,
week one?
I don't know. That's just they just kind of named that week zero years ago. I think what's going to happen eventually, particularly when we go to 16 teams. Now we're still at 12 this year. We don't know where we'll be next year. It really kind of depends on who you talk to about this. But a lot of these early games. Now some of these games are. This is more week one games than what we're looking at here with Hawaii and Stanford, South Florida and Boise, Rutgers, Ohio, and TCU at North Carolina. But that's going to be taking some used to. But I'm guessing, Shane, at some point when we go to 16, they're going to need a week to kind of keep from playing in February, frankly. And I think what they're going to do is week zero is going to become week one again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hope so. There's a game week one that I think Gator fans need to look at, and I think it's going to be a heck of a game. But South Florida hosts
Yeah,
Boise State before they come play the Gators. And I mean, that's a good test for the South Florida Bulls, no question about it.
yeah, it really is. And that game is now like plus 9.5. It was at 0.6, but it's not a. The thing that makes it intriguing, it's not a double-digit game, is it, Shane? So when you're within what, basically a touchdown, that gets people's attention.
Yeah. Another week one game here that I am shocked is being played because it hadn't been played in years. Southern Miss is playing Mississippi State this year.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a big deal in the state of Mississippi, to say the least, as you know.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, look, we know Mississippi State's still kind of they've got a new staff. They're still getting going, but I think we know what that would mean to Southern Miss to win a game like that.
Yeah, that's usually Mississippi State and Ole Miss don't play Southern because only bad things can happen. You
Yes,
barely beat them or you lose to them,
that's
you know,
right.
and all hell breaks loose. Some of these coaches that started the season, ranked in the preseason top 10, finished the year unranked. You think there are any this year, Brent?
Well, that's a great point. I mean, some of the ones This happened to Mike Norvell at FSU last year. They were number 10. Lincoln Riley was in 23. They were number 6. Brent Venables, they were number 9. James Franklin in 20. They were number 7. So, that's very possible. And by the way, the last one here, Shane, you probably noticed this. Lane Kiffin, when he was at USC, that they were predicted number 12. In 12, they were predicted number 1. It certainly didn't end that way, did it?
No, not at all. This thing at the University of Kansas or Kansas University, however they want to say it, is shocking to me how much money was just donated to their school.
Yeah, $300 million by donor David Booth, one of the largest gifts in college athletics history. Now they are moving forward with the second phase of their what they call the Gateway District project. The stadium was named for Booth. Booth obviously is a big donor. That's who we're talking about here. The stadium was named after him in 2018. And that's when he donated a paltry $50 million to the school, Shane. Now $300 million, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Kansas didn't even play a home game there last year. They redid their stadium.
Yeah.
They're in it this year. It's a cool little stadium. They did a nice job. I saw some pictures of it. But $300 million from this one guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
It really, and it may be more. It may be more a family thing. Frankly, there may be a couple, some other family members involved with this. But the main thing is that's an unprecedented gift, to say the least.
The Pouncey twins, Mike and Marquise, invite you to try the mango martinis at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, handcrafted with their J.F. Hayden liqueurs. Try those flavors and find your favorite. Shop jfhaydens.com. Somebody on YouTube, I can't find it now, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, want to know, oh, here it is. Patrick says, any update when Steve's coming back to WRUF? He starts his show back on Monday, this Monday from 10 to 12.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
Yes, for sure. And then Joseph's question on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. Is there a team ranked outside the top 25 that Brent can see having a good season and making the playoffs?
Wow. Here are the teams outside the top 25 in order.
I have one.
Okay. This is like BYU, Utah, Baylor. That would be 26, 27, 28. Louisville and Southern Cal. And Georgia Tech is 31, by the way. Looks like Missouri's 32. Of those we just mentioned, maybe, don't laugh, but maybe Georgia Tech with the way they've improved, Shane.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Utah Utes.
Okay, that's fair.
Brent, are they in the Big 12? I don't even know what conference they're in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason is because I had Andy Staples on the program a week or two ago, and he really digs into these teams. He likes them because apparently they got a bunch of Power 5 or Power 4 guys transfer in there, especially on the O-line and D-line.
Sure.
And I just think they're a very well-coached team. So I'm going to go with the Utah Utes for what that's worth.
Nothing wrong with that. Utah, by the way, they have they start fascinating game. They start with UCLA in the former Tennessee quarterback Lama getting a lot of love at UCLA, and you're right. They're in the Big 12. They are. So I just thought that was interesting. So I wanted to throw that out and be able to mention that. But that's a good question, because there's always somebody from the 25 to 35 who has a greater year, and then there's plenty of teams in the top 25 who really don't make the top 25 at the end of the year.
Yeah. Some other news and notes. St. Thomas Aquinas, who wins the state title every year, which they should be playing in a private league only division.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on the state of Florida's stupid FHSAA rules.
Yeah.
But these damn guys are going overseas to play a high
Yeah,
school
they
game.
are. They're going to play in London, as a matter of fact. It's on October the 8th. They'll now, you can help us with this. St. Thomas Aquinas will play in London against the NFL Academy on October the 8th. They've won their 16th state championship in 2024. It went 12-3. So the NFL Academy seeks kids aged 16 to 18 who are eligible to study in the United Kingdom that are interested in developing their education, athletics, and character, potential for using American football. So just threw that note in there, Shane. I thought that was interesting. We don't see that every day, do we?
No, we don't. And I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think St. Thomas will destroy that team.
Yeah, probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will for sure. Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Wilson Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. We got a lot of talk on YouTube here about John Gruden. I guess he came back the other day saying he wanted to play coach college football.
Yes, yeah. He's kind of been making the rounds. Said he would like to coach in the SEC. I think he's mentioned like one of 4 teams. Now the thing with Gruden is, I think pretty much most people know who Gruden is, but because he hasn't really coached in a while, and he works with a lot of NFL people, and he's on, this special and that special. But I mean, Shane, I'm just wondering out loud for Gruden. And look, Gruden is obviously has had a lot of ties to Tennessee, but no one's coaching Tennessee right now except Heupel for the future. But I mean, I'm just wondering, Shane, could he end up at a Kentucky maybe? If that doesn't work out with Stoops this year, and they're expected to be maybe even around 500 or below 500, I have 2 questions. One, I'm just saying this out loud. How soon could he come back? And 2, would the players really know who he is?
Yeah, and look, I had a small 2 to 3 week stint with the Bucks when Gruden was down, and I got cut because they drafted Chris Sims, and I ended up going to Cincinnati, so it worked out better anyway.
Sure.
But look, he won a Super Bowl. I get it, and I like Gruden. I think Gruden's a better speaker and commentator than he is football coach.
Yeah, he probably is. That's a good
I mean,
point.
his coaching record's 117 and 112.
Yeah.
I mean, they recycle NFL coaches. We all get that, but I don't think he would be worth a damn in college football. I really don't. And I could be 100% wrong, and I'd eat crow or whatever. But I just because he won a Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's players. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So I don't see him coming. I don't think he would be very good in college, personally.
Well, would he be at Shane? My thing is, would he? It's not you don't just coach anymore. Now, look, you got a lot of people. Coaches delegate a lot of things, but how would Gruden be in dealing with NIL and the things that coaches have to deal with, at least to a small degree today?
Yeah, I don't think he'd be very good. However, it's kind of the NFL model, so they've had to hire a bunch of people. But I think his brother was a better play caller than him, quite honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
But that's my 2 cents. All right, Brent. Alabama, obviously, they're opening up in Tallahassee. What's going on in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, they will have a new sideline reporter. Former Alabama linebacker Corey Reamer is replacing Damian Square, who is now at West Alabama, doing some commentary for CTFN. So he will join the Alabama broadcasting crew, Chris Stewart and Tyler Watts. You probably know Tyler from a while back, maybe, but he is still doing the. He's a color guy for Alabama. Pretty good feeling in Alabama where the season's going. They are certainly concerned about going to Tallahassee to open up, frankly. And again, this is also interesting. Alabama had 5 quarterbacks in 2023 who started or would start college games. Jalen Milroe, obviously, in the NFL. Ty Simpson now is a quarterback. Dylan Lonigan is at Boston College. Eli Hosteen is at Pitt. And Julian Saying is at Ohio State. So they've had several guys a few years ago who now are starting quarterbacks at different teams.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The Auburn Tigers, Brent, I don't know if you saw this, but I saw it on Twitter, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I think it came from somebody at a press conference saying that at Auburn, Derek Nix calls the plays on first down, Hugh Freeze calls the plays on second down, and Ken Austin calls the plays on third down. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I just read that, and Lane Kiffin, as he would do, chimed in, Shane, and said, so who calls them on fourth down now?
I mean, I don't know if somebody's making that up, but that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard at any level of football. Any level.
How in the world could you get that communicated? Now, and this is Brian Matthews, who is one of the Auburn beat writers. Auburn has lost 5 or more games in 9 of 11 seasons. They've lost 6 of their last 7 bowl games and lost 18 to 21 games against ranked opponents. Auburn has not won an SEC title since 2013, their longest drought in 20 years. So it's a big year for Hugh, to say the least, isn't it, Shane?
Yeah, there's no question. Jackson Arnold's got a lot of pressure on him, and I think if he struggles, they go to Deuce Knight, the freshman from Mississippi, who was highly recruited. I think he was initially committed to Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken. Gators, what you got with the Gators?
Well, people, I think, know that Florida play officially now. 7 teams ranked the AP Top 25. Mercy. Vernell Brown is coming along. Aiden Mizell is now healthy. That's good. Unfortunately, O.J. McCray, you may probably know more about this one. The edge rusher had a lower body injury, so they're trying to get him back. As we mentioned, most of the wide receivers are back too. That is good. Tramel Jones at quarterback has gotten some more reps of the first and second team. So I think they like him. Aaron Childs at linebacker has a lot of good things said about him. And I can tell you this, they are recruiting their, all get out here. Devon Gross, I may mispronounce that, foreshore wide receiver. He is committed. He's from Frisco, Texas. So, and Shane, I'm sure you've seen this and talked about it during the week, but Florida is really doing well right now recruiting.
They are. Rick in Jupiter on the Titan of our text line says, listen to Brent with the season closely approaching has me pumped for the season. About to hit the links, and I think this show is about to add 20 yards to my drive. We'll hit them straight. Yeah.
Glad to help, right, Shane?
That's right. Brent, let's jump down to the LSU Tigers. Obviously, I think most people heard Garrett Nussmeier's got a little knee issue, a little tendonitis. Anything else coming out of LSU?
Yeah, and the big thing about that is Brian Kelly actually had to step off the field and make an announcement about it and to basically say that Garrett Nussmeier was okay. So, that's kind of the thing. That, I mean, they're very happy with the preseason. They think they're doing well. The cornerback, Mansour Delane, Mansoor, transfer of Virginia Tech, is playing very well. They've got another transfer from USF. Bernard Goodman has been good. Also, now, Shane, the reason they're excited is we know they're going to be good offensively, but what they're excited about are the defensive players. Frankly, they think their defense may be the best they've had in quite a while, and obviously Jack Pyburn on edge is one of those. Harold Perkins, we know the names. They just never really kind of come together. But so to say the least, as you said, there's a lot of excitement in Baton Rouge right now.
Yeah, Ole Miss had a scrimmage this past weekend. The reports were that the defense dominated the offense, which sometimes happens in your first scrimmage. I think the one thing that has impressed me the most about Ole Miss in the last 3 or 4 years, they've gotten better defensively every year. There was a time when they were horrible on that side of the ball.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. They got Pete, the former Alabama D coordinator, who has done a really good job. Lane really at this point doesn't have to worry about that side of the ball much. Now Austin Simmons is doing well, their first year quarterback. But you're right about that. There's no doubt about it. The reason we think they will be better this year and could end up making the playoffs is they are much better defensively now.
That is very true. What's going on with the Tennessee Vols?
Well, they've had a lot of injuries. They've had one of their wide receivers, Chris Brazel, was arrested on charges of driving with a suspended license. So they've had a little bit of drama that is going on too, and they've had a couple of scrimmage takeaways. Their running game is still very good. They are replacing 4 starters and 6 of the top 7 on the offensive line, and they do not have Dylan Sampson anymore, but they're still able to run the ball, and the defense is still good too. So, I mean, Shane, is it that different than last year? Frankly, they're breaking in new quarterback. Aguilar is coming over, but they'll be able to run the ball and play defense, so they'll be in most of their games. And they've got an early September game with Georgia that will let us know where they are.
Rick also says on the Titan Mar text line, Brent brings up LSU getting Pyburn as exciting. I don't hear much talk from our side about losing him as being a huge impact. What are y'all thoughts on how big of an impact his departure will make this year? I mean, time will tell. I thought Jack was tremendous against the run. I thought he was a liability in passing situations. But we'll see. I mean, he's a good kid. He's a hard worker, good football player. Does some things well, not so great the other one. So it'll be interesting to see how LSU uses him. But I thought he was very good against the run. Very good against the run. Brent, give us a couple of nuggets before we get you out of here.
Yeah, and I give Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South credit for this. Texas A&M has not won a true road game versus an AP Top 25 team since it beat Auburn in 2014. That is a long time in it, Shane. That is quite unusual. Now, again, they're hoping that they will be better with Marcel Reed also at quarterback. Something to and Lenore Sellers is looking good at South Carolina. I'm just hitting a few highlights here in order to kind of look at it. Still got a scrimmage pretty much for everybody that is going on too. Oklahoma is dealing with John Mateer with some sports gambling issues. I'll be real brief about this. That includes reference to a specific game. Now, this is supposed to have happened twice in the fall of 2022 when he was at Washington State. So the problem with this is, are they going to just go ahead and practice and play him when the season begins? Will it be dealt with before the season starts? I mean, Shane, that's stuff we don't know. When, the NCAA, I mean, they have their particular rules and how they deal with things, and they don't always grab from one pile and bring it up and rule on it. So this can be interesting to see what happens here with John Mateer, who is thought of as a very good quarterback and who could turn Oklahoma around.
Yeah, I think he's a dark Heisman Trophy candidate for sure.
I agree.
Good stuff as always, my friend. Appreciate your time, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, bud. Take care. Have a great week.
That's Brent Beaird, our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, joining us on the Titan and More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We'll take a quick time out. We'll come back. We'll be joined by Kevin Winter, who comes to WRUF ESPN Gainesville. Will be a part of the Gator Radio Network from ESPN Radio. We'll talk to him about his new show and other things. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
I'm tired of you living in pain, and I want you to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, back, shoulders, and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Stop putting it off. Call now and schedule your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now in Gainesville, Ocala, and the Villages. 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550.
Coach, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Linderos tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Linderos tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Linderos tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Linderos.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call, 352-240-1779. Back to the Titan and More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by the new brand manager at RUF and ESPN Gainesville. He's also going to be the studio host for the Gator Radio Network when football kicks off. Kevin Winter, who comes to us from ESPN. You'll probably recognize his voice. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing, man?
Morning, Shane. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It's been good to
Yeah,
be.
absolutely. So let everybody know you worked at ESPN for a long time.
Yes.
Um,
I was there for 20, on air for 20 years, and probably the last 15 plus as the lead studio host for all of our NBA, Major League Baseball, college football, NFL. If there was a play-by-play event on ESPN radio, I was the studio host, most
yes,
likely.
indeed. And that's why when I first met you the other night, as soon as you opened your mouth, I was like, I've heard you before on the radio. So now you're here in Gainesville. Let's talk about what you're going to be doing on a daily basis. Obviously, Steve's coming back. He's going to
Yep.
host the sports scene. Then you have a show going right into Cardozo's show. Tell us how that's going to work.
So I'm the brand manager. I'm learning. I'll give me tell you the shows first. Steve Russell is back. Russell's going to start. Sports scene starts Monday, August 18th. He's back noon to 2. What Mondays you're in, right? You'll be
I come in on the Mondays after games.
After games. Okay. So yeah, you'll be back with him. Tuesdays for the first hour, it'll be Inside the Huddle with you, Coach, and Steve. But Steve's going to be back 5 days a week. He's going to go noon to 2. And what was happening at the station, what they had before, and this is one of the things that really got my interest peaked. The students had a show called Sports Lab, and they would do it, Shane, on Mondays and Fridays only. Okay, well, they also wanted me to be on air for this job. So how do we incorporate that and make that 5 days a week? One of the things they decided to do was they decided, how about I work with the students? So maybe you give the students some structure on how to do a show professionally. Not that they can't, because I've been really impressed with the few that I've met so far. But now you can teach them some of the small things. And that's one of the roles that I have as an instructor here at the University of Florida in the College of Journalism. Take everything I've known for 20 years and now hone their skills. So when these kids go into the workforce when they graduate, they're ready to rock and roll. So Russell's going to go noon to 2. The sports lab with Kevin Winter and a rotating number of students each day. So there'll be 2 students each day. It's just going to rotate for the entire semester. They'll ride shotgun. I may take some days off because I have some manager duties to do. That's this world. So we're gonna run that show from 2 to 4, and then from 4 to 6, Cardozo and Dooley on the tailgate. So I think the biggest thing, Shane, coming out of this is on WRUF, whether it's 98.1 FM, 850 AM, or if you've got an HD radio, 103.7 HD2, you can get us live and local from now noon to 6, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, Clint on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, how can I listen from Valdosta? There's an app you can put on your phone.
The WRUF mobile app, download it for free. All the shows will stream on YouTube at WRUF, home of the Gators. That's all of our now social media accounts. Just search at WRUF, home of the Gators. You'll find everything. Everything is now going to be WRUF. That's one of the things I learned, Shane, coming down here. This station's got a history, and I'll tell you a quick story. Someone I worked with at ESPN. He now works at Odyssey. When I started exploring this job, he says, "Let me tell you something, Kev." He says, "If I get a resume from a student coming out of college, and they're from Syracuse, Hofstra, where I went to school, Fordham, or Florida, east of the Mississippi, those 4 schools, they automatically go to the short pile. So that's pretty impressive. That's what they built before me." So
yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you can look around the landscape of journalism with the people on the SEC network and ABC or whatever. It's a lot of Gators, no question about that. I want to ask you this because I have millions of people that ask me this every year on this show, and I'm not technically sound. Technology just drives me crazy. People always want to know how they can sync up the radio to the broadcast that Sean does.
Yep.
Football. Do you know the best way to do that? Or you can think about it, and I can give you an answer next week.
So it's funny. Growing up, I used to listen to Red Sox baseball because I'm from Boston. So growing up, you'd always hear, or actually, sorry, listen to Patriots games. This is where it came from. Turn down your TV and turn up your radio. But that's before the delays and all these streams. I think it's trial by error, man. Trial by fire. But Every Gator game, Sean, is available on the WRUF app, no matter where you are.
Yeah, so Joseph asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello, can we listen to the Gator games on the app?
Yes.
Yes, so you can do the app.
Yes,
I
you
just
can.
don't know if we're a little bit ahead of the game live action, if you're sitting in the stands or what, but or on TV. I know there's a way that you can just slow your TV down to
Yeah.
catch up with it, but
If you've got if you've got a DVR, I mean, you just got to play, you got to dance around with that, with the pause and play button, and you probably could get it linked up enough.
all right, Kevin, we got a question from Barone on 71, Barone 71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. What's Kevin's thoughts on how ESPN went away from sports reporting to a propaganda machine, always mixing political and social issues into their programming? You don't have to answer if you don't want.
No, hang on. Shane, I've got nothing else coming from ESPN. I've already collected it. The last check came in January. I'm not a fan. They went away from journalism. I was once told by a boss about 5-6 years ago. He says soon we're going to become nothing but an NFL and NBA network. And guess what's happening? It's all it is. I mean, you mix in college football. The problem is that the weekend shows are all dedicated to games. So college football only gets Saturday. Because come Sunday, unless you've got a major game, and I mean major, there's not many storylines that they start following until they start doing the college football playoff reveal. So, and I love college football, and I'm a little younger than you, and you're going to hate me for this, but one of my favorite college football memories growing up, I thought in 1992, your SEC commissioner, I thought he was nuts for the SEC championship game. But I remember watching that and then watching the game and saying, yeah, this is the future. Like, this worked.
Well, I'm responsible for the future, or what's currently going on, because as that documentary stated,
I
the
know.
play that changed college football. If we win it, there would be no. And I every time I see the commissioner of the SEC, I joke around with him. I'm like, I'm waiting for my royalty checks to come in the mail. We got a text here on Titan our text line. What are Kevin's thoughts on the battle for college pregame with Fox Sports getting the Barstool guy versus ESPN? I think it's going to be interesting.
Shane, I'm with you. I think it's going to be very interesting. So I've always liked, I like the idea. You brought Saban in to replace Lee Corso. Lee was a guy also with Beano Cook, right? Remember Beano Cook back in the day? I watched College Game Day starting with them. You got to always kind of stay a little fresher. The bringing in the McAfee Portnoy aspect, it's what drives ratings, man. If you've got the following in today's day and age, and you've developed that, and let's also, I'm not knocking either one of them. Both developed their brand really well, and I think you'd probably agree with that. Like they just had something. It's going to be interesting because I always thought Fox was a little less because ESPN's the preeminent one. They're the most known. But adding Portnoy brings an entirely massive audience and maybe an entirely different audience that may take away from ESPN.
Text on the Titan MR text line from Jimmy right here in Gainesville. He says, Kevin, will your show have people be, can't speak. Will people be able to call into your show? Because I love listening to these crazy callers that call into Steve's.
The answer is yes. One of the things that part of teaching, Shane, and trying to help these kids is they never took calls. You gotta learn how to, I don't even think they had guests before. It was kind of just, here's 2 hours, go for it. I want to teach them kind of what I did when I first started, but I didn't have someone holding my hand. I just listened to people, and you try to emulate them, but then you realize they've been doing it for a while. It's pretty good. So yes, there will be calls. We're going to do guests. It's a road. I haven't set anything up. I've only been down here a month, guys. I know some people that from the national level that I'm going to be able to lean on at ESPN to get some national guests. But I'm still in the process. Heck, when I met you the other night, Shane, I probably met 10 people that I never met before in my life.
Right.
All the media guys. I've been down here a month swimming in. One of the things I like to say is we were on air. You're always taught how to You're always handed the sausage and say, go cook it. I'm now making the sausage and then cooking it. And it's a little weird dynamic.
Bob and Ocala on the Titan MR text line wants to know, in all your years at ESPN, what was your favorite moment? You covered a lot of stuff, so.
I did. I'm going to say, unfortunately, it was a loss. The 2022 NBA Finals. I grew up a Celtic fan. Game 7 of the 1984 NBA Finals is the first NBA game I remember. Watching Larry Bird and the Celtics beat the Lakers, and that was my beloved sport. I got to actually cover my Celtics in it live on a national radio broadcast in the NBA Finals for 6 games. That was awesome. That's so we get, Shane, I think people get into this business because I'm not sure we want to work for a living. And also we love sports. We didn't have the talent that you did to go play 14 years in the NFL. Like that's the best of the best, man. And there's only so many who can do that. So for those of us who love sports and can't take our careers further, that's kind of why I got into this business, because I love it. And how do I stay in it? And it was the teams we fell in love with. So covering the Celtics in 22, that was the best.
Let me ask you this, because you've been with ESPN and you're up from, like you said, Boston, and
Yep.
They love their pro sports up in the Northeast.
They do.
What college teams did you follow? And now you've been here a month, just your thoughts of being part of the Gator Nation. What's that like?
Teams I followed, my first football game my dad ever took me to was Boston College, Penn State at the old Foxborough Stadium, because he would never take me to a Patriots game, because Patriots games at that point, A, the team was awful. B, the stadium was dangerous on Sundays. In fact, they couldn't have Monday Night Football games for a while. So I grew up watching Boston College. I watched Doug Flutie, but I always found myself falling towards the whatever, like Notre Dame, Miami games on CBS, your SEC games on ABC. So I always kind of drew myself to those. I hated the U back in the day. I now respect it, but now I respect them because, man, there was a lot of talent. Before I came down here, I asked someone who covered college football and then went up to Boston and covered the Red Sox in 04 before the Sox won. I said, hey, man, you know the landscape of college football down there. I said, what's the fan base like on the freak out scale, like we were for the Sox? Like in April, if you lost, the Red Sox lost their game in April before they won the World Series in 04. If they lost the game in April, the season's over. It's done. There may be 150 to go, Shane. Season's over. It's a disaster. He says to me, it's on steroids down there. Just going around, the only places I've really been, quick story, I go to my first Publix, my second day here, trying to fill up my apartment. I've got gray sneakers with orange laces on, and the guy looks at me and says, go Gators. I have nothing Gator on. I said orange. Yeah. And he says, go Gators. So that's my welcome to Gainesville.
Yeah, it's there's nothing like Southeastern Conference football or sports.
No, there isn't, man.
Before we let you go, Large Fry, and I don't know if you know the answer to this. His question on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Kevin, how much on average does an ESPN commentator make?
Oh, it varies. I can't. I couldn't give you an average, just to know that there's a group that is higher. That's the big boys, and then there's probably a drop off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Here's a text on the Titan MR text line from George. He says, welcome to Gainesville. I know you now work for the University of Florida, but you're also in sports media. Who do you predict to win the national title and your Final Four in the college football playoff?
Look, the obvious ones are Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame, right? They, probably put those 3 in there. I can't tell you who I'm going to predict. I do like making long shots. Maybe offering some advice, or just, occasionally Florida at minus 400, Shane, to make the playoffs. I found that one very interesting. Yeah. We got some pretty good odds, man. There's some
they got a chance. Who do you like in the speaking of that?
Yeah.
What about the NFL this year? Who do you like?
I would got to say the Eagles. I think the Chiefs it's Eagles, Bills. If not now for Buffalo, Shane, I don't know if ever.
Yeah.
Or if ever, if for a while. That's probably the better way to say it. If for a while. So
Text here came in from Ted on the Titan MR text line. He wants to know your thoughts on the WNBA. What are these girls thinking about the way they treat Caitlin Clark?
I think part of it is jealousy, Shane.
Yeah.
She is the face of the league, and if you've been playing for a while, you're not going to like that. But she's probably 90% of the reason the league is at the getting the attention it is over the last year and a half. The one of the blessings for the WNBA was that they can't their season starts right after the NCAA basketball tournament. There's like about 3-week break, and then you're right into WNBA for the summer. They rode that momentum from Caitlin and Angel. Caitlin's just got a little more talent than Angel, and a different style, different flamboyancy, and she has got a little bit of the baby face too, right?
Yeah.
She's, Caitlin's got the baby face, and I think there's some like, if you're a woman who's been there for 6 or 7 years, going, hey, where's my love? Well, you kept it going. Bird and Magic got the same thing in '79. They took the NBA to a different stratosphere.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. All right, before we let you go, one more time, let everybody know kind of the lineup on RUF.
Yep.
And then I don't know if you're on Twitter, how people can follow you on Twitter and all that good stuff.
Well, you're good. Your guys have got my Twitter handle up there at Kevin P. Winter, and thank you for calling it Twitter still. Steve, the sports team with Steve Russell is back, noon to 2. Sports lab with Kevin Winter and a rotating group of students Monday through Friday now, 2 to 4. Tailgate with Cardozo and Dooley. We'll go 4 to 6. I am also, Shane, going to unload as much college football and NFL play-by-play on the station as humanly possible. For instance, before the Learfield broadcast, which I will join Jeff and Tate and you and Sean on this year. Before that, before we hit the air at 4 o'clock on Saturday the 30th, I'm running Texas and Ohio State on WRUF. So if you're on your way to the parking lot, tune us in. I'm going to have Texas and Ohio State on the air that day. So that's I knew one thing coming down here. Gators, SEC, run the ball, and football is king.
Real quick, Natasha on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello, says, my daughter wants to know if you're looking for interns.
We are always looking for people.
I'll to message you on